Anyone who knows me knows that I enjoy being outdoors and I love hunting. And anyone who knows me and my hunting habits knows that I am first and foremost a deer hunter who loves archery. But this wasn't always the case. I grew up in a home where small game was king. My dad started his hunting adventure with his brother-in-law, who was an avid rabbit hunter. He always had a pen full of beagles, and as I grew up, my father took on that same love. He too always had a couple beagles around the house. I don't ever remember a time in my childhood when we didn't have multiple dogs. And I always thought of them as pets, but they were first and foremost my father's hunting dogs. I remember a lot of them, but I really don't remember much about them. Not even the ones that I hunted over. They're now just a vague memory, a name, a couple stories. That's about it. Except for one. One time when we were out hunting, we heard this eerie sound, and after following the noise, came across a litter of pups that somebody had decided wasn't worth keeping. They decided to rid themselves of the litter by burying them under a pile of rocks. One of the pups had survived this ordeal, and we could hear her whimpering. I literally moved rocks from on top of her little body to unbury her. She was the only one still alive, and I can still remember it like it was yesterday, picking her up carefully, gently tucking her inside my coat to protect and to warm her, carrying her back to the car, crying the whole way, me and the pup. How could anyone have been so calloused, so cruel, as to bury such a precious little thing? We took her home, then to the vet, and then nursed her back to health. My mom decided to name her Cupcake. I'm not really sure why, but she was, by all accounts, a mutt. A little of this, a little of that. The coloring of a blue tick, the ears of a basset, the legs of a beagle, not enough of any one breed to stand out distinctly. Clearly, this had not been a litter of pups that the owner felt had any value. And so they were cast off, discarded, thrown away. She never did wind up being much of a hunting dog. My dad used to say that the only thing she could find with her nose was her food bowl. But I loved her so much because she was mine. Her value didn't come from her pedigree. It didn't come from her ability. It didn't come from her looks. She was precious simply because she was mine. I think that must be how God feels about me. I may not be all that talented, and I'm aware that I'm not all that to look at, but God loves me. Isaiah recorded these words from God. God said this, I have ransomed you, I have called you by name, and you are mine. Don't let anybody tell you that you aren't special. Don't ever lose sight of your value. God loves you so much, He gave His Son for you.